Hello and welcome to the Local Word here at Fullerton College Television. My name is AJ and today we'll be having a local business owner share with us on what their profession is as well as a flight instructor and as well as how it will benefit their future and community. Please welcome Garrett Hess. Thank you for coming on, Garrett.
Good morning, AJ.
Nice to see you. So tell us, how did you get started with Fun Outside Aviation?
I started teaching out of Fun Outside in 2002 after changing careers from a special education teacher, and I started teaching people how to fly after receiving my certificates.
And did you have difficulty starting out or did you get a hang of it quickly?
When I first started teaching at Fun Outside, I took quite naturally to the teaching aspect because I came from a teaching background. However, the transition from teaching special education to teaching people how to fly took a little bit of time and effort to learn the ropes and figure out what I was doing and how to best serve the aviation community.
Right. And what was the moment that you realized that that was what you wanted to do?
You know what was interesting was I always wanted to be in aviation, or I always wanted to be a pilot. I can remember as far back as being 5, 6 years old and saying, hey, the sky's the place that is amazing. I want to be there. It wasn't until I started teaching in a high school, a Pollinger Park High School, that I thought, oh, hey, now I can pursue my aviation dreams. And not knowing that I could have done that at 10, 12, 15 years old, right. Just going to a local airport. But it really became a dream of mine, and I pursued that dream when I had a job in teaching.
So this was almost like a lifelong goal that you've been trying to get.
Yeah, I always thought that flying was for me. I always wanted to be a pilot, and so it wasn't until I really looked into it and said, oh, wait, anybody can become a pilot. And when I found that out, I didn't stop, just got into teaching, got into aviation, and haven't looked back since.
And that's great. But what are your favorite aspects about being an instructor?
The favorite thing about teaching is seeing the growth of an individual. From somebody that's coming into flying, that's never seen an airplane or never been in a little airplane before, turning around and giving them the skills and abilities from the time they start to the time they become a pilot, especially in the middle where they solo and they fly an airplane by themselves. When they really get into that airplane and they fly without an instructor on board, it's a moment that they never forget. And being part of that moment is always a successful moment for me and for the student.
That's great. That's great. So you really see like a sense of accomplishment. You can see their growth through the whole time.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Did coronavirus affect your business at all when it happened?
What's interesting about coronavirus is that stopped the world for a period of time. Fun Outside stopped teaching for a short period of time, a month to 2 months or so, and then we ended up staying open as a business because we were a educational facility and people could learn at Fun Outside. And so when people were wondering how they could pursue any kind of outside activities, Fun Outside was open to the ability to teach people. And so we taught people how to fly, and coronavirus didn't necessarily hurt our bottom line over a full year.
Wow, that's great. And it's actually really amazing that you didn't have any effect. And we'd love to hear more right after this commercial break.
Looking for a fun way to earn a pilot's license? With Fun Outside Aviation, getting a pilot's license has never been more fun and uplifting. With our fleet of planes and wonderful instructors, Fun Outside Aviation is one of the best flight schools in Orange County.
At Fun Outside, we have the tools to make you reach new heights and soar.
Fun Outside Aviation, helping new pilots reach new heights. Call now.
Hello, and welcome back to the Local Word. I'm still here with our guest, Garrett. So Garrett, tell us, how do you ensure your students are prepared for a solo flight?
That's a great question. there's actually 4 things that we require for a student to solo. First one is for them to be able to take off and land safely. That seems pretty obvious.
Right.
A second thing is they need to be able to get to another airport. We're based out of Fullerton Airport, and there's one runway. Every now and then that runway shuts down, whether somebody has a flat tire or somebody went off the end of the runway not too long ago. So they have to be able to get to another runway. They have to be able to communicate with air traffic control. We have a operating control tower. Person has to be able to communicate with that control tower. And other control towers if they're able to if they have to divert to another airport. And the fourth thing they have to be able to do is they have to know the basics of airspace. We're close to LAX airspace. Long Beach and John Wayne have different types of airspace that you cannot fly into without permissions. So those are the basics that somebody needs to know in order to solo, and we ensure that they have beyond that skills and competency, of the airplane and of the basic rules and regulations in order to solo.
And what are your expectations of your students?
Our students come to us on their own accord because they want to be there. And so it's really nice to have people that want to learn, that want to grow, they want to develop, they want to learn a new skill. And so the basic we want is somebody that shows up on time with a great attitude and that want to learn that skill and want to put time and effort into that.
Right. On a topic, did you have any noticeable students when teaching? Any students that stood out in your career?
There's been quite a few. Having done this for 22, 23 years, I've taught race car drivers. I had a guy that had a World Series of baseball ring, and he won the World Series with the 1987 Twins. Very eclectic guy. I've had different contractors and stuff that have great and eclectic personalities,
Right.
and it's really the aspect of being able to teach different people from different backgrounds and different aspects in life that no training is the same.
Right.
Everybody comes to the aviation with a different background and a different set of skills and abilities.
Of course.
And we work with them to the best of their ability, to the best of our ability to get them to accomplish their goal.
That's great. And in a similar vein to that, we noticed that you had brought the certificate here onto the show. Could you tell us anything about this?
Was an interesting fact. Fun Outside owns 16 airplanes, and one of them is this Cessna 182. And the Cessna 182 was actually written into an episode of the Andy Griffith Fan Club. And what's fun is the Andy Griffith Fan Club is the Rerun Watchers Club, and they have multiple clubs around the world and mostly in the U.S. for watching Andy Griffith. And the airplane that we bought off of a gentleman was featured in the Andy Griffith show. It was season 8, episode 23 of Andy Griffith. It was Aunt Bee's big moment, and Aunt Bee learned how to fly in that airplane. And so people see that, and they see the reruns of the Andy Griffith show, and they enjoy the show. They enjoy the what's going on, and they send me postcards. They send me messages on social media, and they tell me, "Hey, we saw your airplane. This looked like really a lot of fun. Can we come see your airplane?" And it gives me community around the world with that.
That's great. Thank you so much for coming onto our show, Garrett. Thank you so much for sharing. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in. We love to see you next time.